we talked a bit about ViaSat, and I want to make sure that we don't completely leave it. But that one was interesting because it was a part of an armed operation. That was traditional war with a little bit of cyber. Now, whether it was 2 weeks before, 2 weeks after, didn't meet a threshold, the war part is still there. So kind of, I don't know, is there more you can talk about on that?
Yeah, my understanding is that the attack on the ViaSat satellite took place within about 1 hour before there was movement across the border by Russian troops and the convoy that we saw at that stage. So within that sort of time frame, I'm not sure that it's necessary for a clause to have any provision at all, because it's so clearly bundled up within the same activity by one state against another. I can see that if it's 1 hour before, it might be clear. If it's 1 week before, it might be clear. If it's 1 month before, it's possibly clear. If it's 1 year before, it's definitely not clear. So there would be a spectrum issue there. Where along that spectrum is it part of war, and where is it just kind of just skirmishing between one nation and another, which does not meet the definition of war. Introducing a clause which talks about the immediate preparation for war possibly doesn't answer that question, because what does immediate mean in that context? And I suspect that most experienced people who consider coverage issues would be able to reach a landing on what immediate means, but it is a subjective comment, and it's not entirely clear what that means.
I think the sort of, I don't know, we call it combined arms, I guess you could say, where you have, you've got your Army, your Air Force, your Navy, and now your sort of cyber arm, and it's an integrated attack. It feels to me like, because there's not such one of the things that makes it hard to have a full-blown cyber war is everything's so interdependent. The systemic nature of cyber means that you're probably going to get hit too. If you use these kind of unrestricted cyber attacks, that have a big systemic impact, everybody's getting hit with that one. And you can't just kind of exclude yourself, because you're a certain country. But these kind of combined operations, seem to be where, from my perspective, it's probably a lot more likely to happen.